Sneezing like a fool over here.
Okay, it's on record.
Good. Good. Real life.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about this weekend.
It was good. It was funner than expected. I didn't enjoy our evening sleep arrangements. I was cold. That was really the only negative part for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd the clothes work out?
They were good. I didn't actually use my pants, my gray pants, the ones that dry quickly. But I'll still probably keep them.
Right.
The shirt was really good. I liked the shirt. And then your base layer of leggings were fine, so I'll return the other ones. Mm-hmm.
You were going to say something before I
Oh, I was gonna say the other bad part was when I cried when we got mad at each other, or you got mad at me for thinking I was mad at you or something. I don't know.
So as she spoke, communication. It is challenging, which we both knew. We both made our own individual separate comments about that. But that's part of the reason that I wanted to do this and want to continue doing this is we didn't give up on each other. You know, when you're here at home and you're stressed out and you're pissed off, you go to the other room or you find a way to walk away. When you're riding in a car with somebody literally the entire day and going through one thing after the next, you don't have that option. You have to figure it out. So at one point I had to have her stop the car. We had to yell at each other briefly, not like out of anger, but just having to figure out, and just so much internal frustration with both of us, just trying to figure out what the tension is. You know, what's going on, what happened, how do we move forward from this, and how do you think that worked out?
I think we survived. We did it. We chatted through our issues, which I think weren't really big issues. We just were both in our heads about them.
Yeah. And again, I think that's the reality of most, not just our stuff, but people's stuff, and then it becomes this monumental thing if it's not being dealt with. Mm-hmm. Which is why I love this forced dealing with it. Is it's terrible, but it's very effective. So what was the overall score of the trip?
Like a 1 through 10?
No, well, sure. Let's go with that.
I would give it a 7.5.
Okay, 7.5. That's, I mean, for the first trip. I'm happy with that. Even with a cold sleep. Which I did end up in the middle of the night getting up and getting you. Basically, she was sleeping with nothing on her legs. So throughout the night, she got cold even in a 0 degree or a 30 degree.
I don't remember what it is.
But where we were camping, there was snow on the ground inches from our tent. So it was cold, don't get me wrong. But you know, a need for a base layer, even while she was sleeping, was important.
I think maybe my socks were a little bit too tight in some points, because when I took them off, they felt better. And then I laid on them for a while, and then I put them back on. I folded them down, and then they were pretty toasty.
Oftentimes, from my experience, a lot of the cold that happens in feet or hands is actually due to moisture in the material. And it can't dry out when it's on the skin, but when you separate it, then it can actually dry out and evaporate. So I've had that with snowshoeing, where my feet would just be frozen cold, and then I would take them off and have no socks on, and my feet would get warm, and then I'd put my socks back on, and they'd be warm again. Um, so those are some very interesting and weird things that happen that, you know, I still learn.
Mm-hmm.
You're certainly still learning.
Yeah.
Food,
It's good.
breakfast. I guess that was the only thing we cooked out of the vehicle. Everything else we went ahead and.
Yeah, we had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh yeah, we had peanut
for
butter.
our lunch.
Yeah.
The first day, stopped for more sandwiches for dinner.
Right, we had
And,
some sandwiches for dinner because we were in a town on our way through to the next area. Okay, so nature versus us. What was the final tally?
I would say nature 5 and Cisna 0.
But was that upsetting?
No. In some areas, I was glad that nature won, so it stopped us from continuing on. When I thought things might have been getting a little too extreme for us.
Explain that further. I was there.
I don't think that we were equipped necessarily for some of the snow issues that popped up.
Totally true.
So I know we made it through some sections, but I think that if we would have continued through others, it would have been tricky. Even if we would have made it through that one, then we could have gotten to another one and then turn around and we would have to get back, which we had to happen,
right.
Which did happen.
Right.
So
we went through one snow area that was pretty passable, pretty easily passable, and you had your fear of the two-way radios. How did that work out?
I think
there was certainly a learning curve.
There was.
You press the button, then you talk.
And you have the volume up so you can hear.
And I have to learn where the volume button is. So overall, lessons.
Right.
New equipment.
I think we need to have a
new
term for left and right, since when I'm out of the car, left means something different for you in the car.
You are correct. I think wheels directions.
Again,
Yeah, I guess
that's
that
not gonna
doesn't
help
help
me.
either. You're right, because you're like to the right. Yeah. Okay. So, getting out of the vehicles wasn't a big deal?
No, I mean, I was a little surprised by the first tree that we had to
It was pretty
dismantle.
immediate.
It was a pretty big one, too. I think that was the biggest one we had to deal with.
It was probably, I don't know if you can see my hand, but let's just say that, it's at least knee height, and we're talking 2 feet plus, and so I had to cut it from both sides just to be able to section it. Got the chainsaw stuck because when you cut, it can either wedge in or wedge out, and was able to free the chainsaw. Then we had to, because it was so large and a 12-foot section of that. Then we tied it off with a tow strap, latched it onto the front bumper, pulled it out of the way, which you did the driving on.
Nope, you did
No,
that.
I did the driving on that one. You did the second one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of those.
Right. Yeah.
I used the chainsaw a lot. I like it. It's fun. Alright, power tools are exciting. So then we got up to the top. I mean, we spent hours and hours continuing to advance up this hillside that would drop down into this other town. We get up to kind of the top of it, and we knew that there was going to be snow. This weather this weekend, even beforehand, at our house, it literally blew a gate door off of our fence. There was 60-mile-an-hour winds at our house. So plenty of trees down in nature, and then obviously plenty of rain, and there, since it's higher elevation, snow.
Snowing when we were driving up there.
It was, I mean, and it was pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty. Big snowflakes.
You were a terrific navigator.
Thanks. Commander.
Truck commander.
yeah.
right? Truck commander. We both got good at taking the radios and turning them on the moment we get out of the vehicle, for the most part. Had to turn around and almost completely reroute all the way back into town. And then we found a way off to the side, like a little extra piece of trail. So we're like, oh, let's go check that out. And then we saw this little hillside that looks like it should pull up and kind of cut off our I don't know, our retrograde back into town. But we get up to the top and there's a landslide across that one. And then we go down another road, and it hasn't been used in, I don't know, a million years. So trees were like this, and we passed through a bit of it, and at some point decided we'd get out and walk, and decided to turn around at a nice open area. And then went down through town, made our way out there, saw a herd of elk along the way, some monsters. I don't know how many, but at least 7 and probably less than 11. And that was, I mean,
that was cool.
That was super cool for me. I don't think that I've seen that a lot of times, and I mean, I've been in that area a lot of times. So that was pretty special for me. Then we had the argument. Or momentary, not argument, but figure our way through a tense moment.
Yep.
Made it into town, went and had some food. That was nice. And then we went out to the other end of town to continue on. And we were going to stop at a hot spring, but we were on the wrong side of the river. So we're like, oh, screw it. And we turned around and went on the trail